You let me violate you.
With the upcoming anticipated release of 2010's end-of-year 3D Fest Tron Legacy, we're going back to 1982 where it all began with Tron. Kevin Flynn, Jeff Bridges, is a former employee of the software corporation Encom, now running a gaming arcade. Flynn has been trying to hack into Encom's mainframe computer to find evidence that Encom's senior executive Ed Dillinger, David Warner, stole 4 video games he created. But Dillinger's supercomputer master control program, aka MCP, stops Flynn and controls most of the computer systems. One night, Flynn's former partner Laura, Cindy Morgan, and her boyfriend, top-flight programmer Alan Bradley, played by Bruce Boxleitner, helps Flynn break into Encom to shut down the MCP with Alan's security program, Tron. With help from Tron, Flynn sets out to destroy the MCP and help Tron liberate the system from the MCP's control. By destroying the MCP is Flynn's only way of returning to the real world. The writer-director of Tron, Stephen Lisberger, originally an animator, was reportedly inspired by his first sighting of the primitive video game Pong to incorporate video games into his next project. The result is a film way ahead of its time in terms of how the world of computers has changed human life, and is no doubt worthy of the term groundbreaking, for better or for worse. In that respect, it can be regarded now as a classic of innovation in film, if not so much a classic film outright. Tron.
When I watched this, I was watching it and I thought, this could go either way. Like, you could watch this film now and all of the special effects could be construed as really dated and really bad, or on the flip, like kind of really vintage cool.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I mean, like in my little sort of setup at the beginning there, I mean, it was groundbreaking. Nobody had ever seen anything like it before. You look at like you say, you look at it now and you go, well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But it was, we've seen better. But I mean, I guess that's the reason for the new film.
Absolutely. But at that time too, I was like, the graphics in this film were akin to what they would use now to storyboard CGI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that really basic, boxy kind of, this is the underlay and we're going to now overlay everything
it's like
on.
Commodore 64 graphics.
Yeah, absolutely. Like in the kind of like races, the car races, I was like, this would be the underlay before they put on the good stuff. But at that time it was groundbreaking. All the live action that occurred inside the computer was filmed in black and white and colorized later with photographic and rotoscopic techniques.
Rotoscope.
Which would have been, really... at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
And Jeff Bridges, this is just on a very low key note. Jeff Bridges is a very good looking man. I was watching it, and the other guy who plays Tron, when I saw him, it took me back to the Scarecrow and Mrs. King days.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I was kind of like, wow,
That's reaching back.
But I remember watching this film in the arcade games and the computer games, and just it's real because we were around at that time.
Arcade games, yeah.
Yeah, well, and when computer graphics were, that was cutting edge for computer graphics.
That's right.
So you go back to it now and it's so, younger Gen Ys and stuff wouldn't know. Mm. But it's just such a trip down memory lane for me to look at that and go, wow, I remember watching them Tron at the time and going, this is just cutting edge.
Yeah, so you saw it at the time?
Yeah.
As did I, yeah.
87 would have been, at least,
Yeah, I mean, it certainly made an impression on me, not the story, but...
it wasn't, it was nominated for a couple of Oscars for costume and sound design. Didn't win either of them. And initially the film was a failure.
Not special effects?
No. Not for Oscars. Other awards possibly, but not Oscars.
That's the one that should be nominated for, you'd think.
Yeah, no.
That's odd.
No,
okay.
No deal. But yeah, but initially the film wasn't that... it wasn't that well received.
It wasn't huge.
No, but after the computer game, the arcade game, the arcade game based on the film actually made the film bigger.
Yeah, that's true actually. The Discs of Tron, which I was a big fan of. That wasn't too bad either.
And now, look at the gaming industry is bigger than the film industry.
That's true.
Yes, and so it's quite interesting.
I hope that Tron Legacy does not destroy that very thing, the legacy of Tron the original.
There's a lot of concern over Tron Legacy.
Yeah, well, I mean, only because of the fact that what happened to the Star Wars franchise
dear.
until recently. So I'm going to go in with it. I'm going to go into the new one with I'm going to try and keep my expectations pretty flat.
The teaser for Tron Legacy looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like when they pull off the sheet off one of the arcade games. Like I remember going like getting really excited going.
That's true. Yeah, with dust and
it just
everything,
looks good because you just remember Tron.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so revolutionary for its time. As with any film that's made.
Yeah.
They try and push the boundaries. I don't think. Yeah, it's dealer's choice on whether the film's aged well. I reckon. It
is really because
it's go either way.
Yeah, it's kind of like hi-fi and lo-fi recordings, like AM radio and FM radio. To some people, it's got warm tones and it reminds them of a time or a place, and other people just look at it and go, "Oh, that's dodgy."
It's like sometimes they have these little just like odd shapes coming across the screen, and it was like because they were inside the computer, and that's hard. Like how do you put yourself? When I was watching it, I was like, how at that time, how would you put yourself in a computer world?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With human-esque kind of characters who are actually programs, and give them a warmth and a humanity, and it was interesting. So that was the vision, the design that they had for it.
Yeah.
But they did have these like little 80s kind of, I made this on my Mac, these little kind of things zipping across the screen from time to time with this synthesized music that just made me laugh out loud.
I love 80s.
That bit for me, that didn't travel well.
Well, with all of that in mind, shall we come back later in maybe next year and talk about Tron Legacy and see how it stood up?
Absolutely.
We'll do that. We'll keep that in. But for now, we'll nail it up. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, but with a little bit of a disclaimer that it's because of my nostalgia. Yeah,
and I was just about to say I'm going to do exactly the same based on nostalgia. Yeah.
So, what was your score again?
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, same. Sorry, beg my pardon. There it is.
Out of here right now, and you guys are invited. Got it.
Ready? Ready.
Greetings, program.
Video game warriors escaping game grid. This is an illegal exit. Must return to game grid. Repeat, this is an illegal...